You might remember our next guest from his 10 days of working in the White House as President Trump's communications director. He is the bold and brassy New Yorker from the finance world whose hiring and firing made headlines. Now he's written a new book all about it. Please welcome to DBL, Anthony Scaramucci.
Thank you guys. Great to be on. Fun show.
Thank you. We're glad to have you. All right, we have so much to talk about, but first, I want to get to what's happening right now currently in Trump's trial. Michael Cohen, the fixer, as you know, is testifying today, and he says he bullied people and lied for Trump. This is literally what we heard today. Are you, A, following this trial, and B, what do you think about what Cohen is saying?
Well, yes, I'm following the trial. Obviously, I have a relationship with Michael. I actually visited Michael twice when he was in prison.
Oh,
and
wow.
If you guys recall, he went to jail for perjury and among other things, but that was the main reason he went to jail. It was all the same facts related to this case. And so what's interesting about this case is that the federal government decided not to try the case when Mr. Trump was president,
Right.
but the city of New York has decided to try the case on the same facts. But you have one person already went to jail on these facts, so I think it's a tough case for President Trump to defend himself on. But you know, we'll see what happens.
I agree.
All right, Mr. Scaramucci, here's the question. With the election coming up, you have to tell us, who do you think is going to be our next president and why?
Well, you know, the polls, if the election were held today, I think the polls are showing that President Trump is ahead in the swing states, but the election is not held today. And I think that this stuff comes together in October, early November. And I think Joe Biden will win this election quite handily. And just give you three quick reasons. Number one, he has way more money than former President Trump, and he'll have more field offices in those swing states. And this will be a get out to vote election more than anything else. Number two, just quickly, if you look at the polling and say likely voters, and every time you say likely voters, Joe Biden is ahead. The most recent ABC poll had him 49 versus 45. And then the third piece of this story, unfortunately, there are too many sordid things that are cropping up for Mr. Trump, including the insurrection and the documents case. They're trying to delay those, but likely one of those will be on trial at the back end of this campaign. And I think that's a bad look. And listen, you know, the IVF abortion issue for the Republicans, it hurt them in 2022, and I think it hurts them again here in 2024.
Interesting. Okay, so let's talk about your time in the White House. On your very first day of work, you met with President Trump. What job advice did he give you?
Well, I mean, you know, I actually met with him the day before to take that job, and the weird part about that job is I was sitting with him. He said he wanted to get rid of Bannon and Priebus. I said, okay. And then he called White House operations. He said, well, what office is available in the West Wing? And they said, well, you know, the communications office is available. And then he looked at me and said, okay, you're going to be the communications director. I said, well, I'm not really qualified to be the communications director, but well, you know, you guys are laughing, but that's exactly how, and you know why you're laughing, because you know it's a true story. That's exactly how he operates. So I ended up taking a job I wasn't qualified for, and I got fired after 11 days, not 10. Don't chip me out of that last day. That was a meaningful day. I mean, it was 9.1% of my federal career, and of course, it was on that day that I got fired. So, but you know, the truth be told, I got fired, but Spicer, Priebus, and Bannon all left alongside of me, and that was a pretty good house cleaning for him because those were difficult people, and they were hurting that administration, particularly Steve Bannon. But I do write about this story in the book, and I write about taking a job that you're not experienced for due to your ego. And this is really not a good reflection on me, but I write about it honestly. I had my pride and ego in taking that job. You know, the idea of working in the White House after building a few successful businesses was too enticing. You know, my wife, I mean, she hates Donald Trump almost as much as Melania hates him. And that's like up here, it's like through the top of the television, and she told me not to take the job, but I didn't listen to her. Of course, I got punished by that 11 days later.
Always listen to the wife.
Always.
Wow. I mean, we were kind of giggling because Tori's from D.C., Jeff and I are from Chicago, so we're very familiar about how wheelings and dealings work. But I love what the underlying message of your book is, because I think in like this Instagram society and world, people often want to take advantage of opportunities that they see themselves fit for, but they don't really have the foundation in order to claim it. And the fact that you're taking ownership of that. Your book emphasizes bouncing back from setbacks. Do you consider your firing from the White House to be the biggest setback or failure that you faced professionally?
Actually, no. I mean, I also write about this in the book. My first firing, I got fired from Goldman about 18 months after I got into Goldman. So I just want you to imagine this. I was at Harvard Law School. I had a number of different job offers, and 18 months after I joined Goldman, I got fired. Now, the weird thing about that story is I ended up getting rehired into Goldman, and I think you guys would appreciate this. They tried to get my severance check back, and I wouldn't give it to them. That probably hurt me politically there, but I left to start my own business shortly thereafter. But that was a really big setback because I had no money at the time. I was an insecure 27-year-old. Getting fired from the White House at age 53, even though I was thrusted into the media spotlight and I was, beat up roundly by the late night comedians and, roasted on Saturday Night Live. When you're in your 50s and you've established a few things, you're probably a little calmer about it. You don't take it as seriously. But I do write in the book, because I think you're bringing up a really brilliant point about where we are today in the world of Instagram. There's so much pressure on our children. They're looking at each other's filtered lives, right, and yet they themselves know that they're living an unfiltered life, but they, for some reason, in imagining their friends in this filtered life, and it's creating a lot of self-confidence and self-esteem issues. Yeah. And the central theme of this book is try, and it's very hard for human beings, myself included, but try hard not to care what other people think of you. You'll be happier and you'll go farther and you'll bounce back from big mistakes like the one of me going into the White House.
Those are lessons for all of us. Yes. Anthony, thank you so much for your insights. DBL Nation, you can find Anthony's book at stores everywhere on May 21st. Thank you again. We'll be right back. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You guys, thank you.